So here we go. It is, yeah. And it's that.
Look, I get.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to James and Flav. For now, me, James, and him, Flav. First of all, how sexually aroused is the chat? I think just get that out the door early. That's always what we do. We did that last week.
Well, one of them, if people don't know, there's a Patreon chat. If you want to become a patron, you can, and you get to watch this live and the guys talk as we talk. But one of them, when you talk about sexually aroused, Ollie Sack has just found a cucumber under the pillow in a hotel room. Make of that what you will.
Let us know what that cucumber was probably being used for. We both presume that it was something
inserted, isn't it?
Yeah, into the mouth, because as a pre-sleep or early morning snack, I presume.
Well, so he's getting into bed and he just goes, "Oh."
yeah. He'll have a little chomp on it. I don't think he'd do anything else.
He just probably thinks, "Oh fuck, I've forgotten."
I'd only want to read out innocent. I'd only want to read out innocent explanations to that, by the way. So I'm sure it is completely innocent, or there's just a bit of trolling going on. Speaking of which, I had to stay in a hotel room the other day, and a breakfast buffet was consumed, and it was epic. I learnt a lot. There were tactics. There was strategy, and there was disappointments, and there was I'll give you a tease on it. We'll talk about it later on. But there was I think it's Sky Sports presenter, or maybe not Sky Sports, but a sports presenter also tackling the breakfast buffet. And there was some elite moves from him that I spotted. I will reveal that later in the podcast.
I'm looking forward to that massively, Jim. My missus for my birthday booked me tickets to go and see London Grammar in Cardiff, right? Mm-hmm. And we were just booking the hotel, and I was like, "Is there a breakfast buffet for that?" She went, "Yeah, there is." All right, okay, let's go. Let's do it.
Chaos.
So I'm looking to pick up some tips.
Okay. Well, yeah. I mean, there was a massive stumbling block. Again, that will be revealed later on. We were looking for a title, but there are some juicy games this weekend. Man City playing Chelsea, but Flav was on the WhatsApps yesterday. Not yesterday, sorry, this morning, and he was like, "I've got a title for you." Because, I mean, this is a football podcast, but we don't... I mean, there was a lot of anger last week, actually, with some of your behaviour. But we will be talking about Arsenal and Spurs this weekend. You said there's a title here, possibly,
So why were people angry with me? What did I say?
We can go to that, really. Well, so people...
you want to come to it? You're going to come to it?
No, we'll go to it.
You're not going to leave that?
We can go to it. Well, Tom was fuming. And 62 people liked this comment as well. He said he turned off the podcast in disgrace when Flav started giving actual meaningful opinions on Nottingham Forest in the EFL. Disgusting behaviour.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
And Mr. Bob the Cat also reacted to your filthy, disgusting, disgraceful behaviour last week by giving a 3-minute sensible contribution to Football Chat. James' reaction to Flav's part about Nottingham Forest is my internal reaction when another student at uni answers a question during a seminar. Yeah, I agree with that. I used to, that when we you got 2 hour seminar at uni, and then they go, "Any questions?" And someone asks a question, and he's like, "What are you doing? What are you doing? Let's just get out of here."
Get out of here. Stop, especially at the end. Any questions? No. Shut up.
So that's us pretty much done, unless there's any questions. Hand goes up. What are you doing? But anyway, enough about that. Let's actually see if we can have legitimate football chat again. North London Derby. You said that there's a possible title here, or a discussion point.
Can I just clear this up before you say the point? Is you tweeted, "I need a title for the pod," and I'm like,
I do.
"Well, there's North London Derby this weekend.
Yeah.
Why don't you call it this because I don't know, it'll get people in, isn't it?
Yeah.
So,
I mean, it's a big game in the season. Probably
a game.
It's weird, isn't it? Because I reckon 3 years ago it was at its peak, it was at its spiciest, and now the North London derby. Yes, there's bragging rights, but it's not. There's no. It's not. The bragging rights aren't a lily pad to success. They're just bragging rights, right?
Yeah, I mean, both teams seem equally as bad as each other. Like, there's no neutral should be looking at this game rubbing their hands together at all. But you know, it's and it's so. I mean, you're right. There's no storylines around this one. We're not both aiming for top four. Neither of us are going to get there. It's about who finishes above who. I think from an Arsenal fan's perspective, they lost their first three, and they potentially could win the next three. But it's been 1-0 wins in the same way that ours were 1-0 wins. All I would say is that in going into this, the wins were pretty drab, and the loss towards Palace was awful, but we were decimated. We had all kinds of problems. And Chelsea, the players that did come in had just come back from fitness and travelling from Croatia the day before. So there may be reasons why those performances were particularly bad. The first half against Chelsea, we were a much better team, actually, than them. Yeah. As good as Chelsea's are. So I don't think the Tottenham Hotspur you're seeing now is the one that you're going to see against Arsenal, or your idea of what Spurs is the one you're going to see against Arsenal at the weekend. I don't think it will be as boring as the statistics suggest. We've only created 4 chances all season, key chances all season. Worse than our XG is the lowest in the entire league.
Is it the lowest in the entire league? It was 4th lowest before the Chelsea game, but I guess you've dipped down, have you? That's a shame.
I think we were bottom. I think we're bottom at something. We're bottom at on some level. No. You're right. 17th we should be. We predicted we should be 17th with XG, but in terms of chances created, we're bottom, below Norwich. So,
do you know what? Here's something you'll like.
Things are changing.
Here's something you like, Flav. If Arsenal beat Spurs this weekend, they don't go above them. So that's nice. That is nice. Don't have to worry about that. Do you know what I mean?
I'm
6
not really
points.
worried about that.
Oh, actually, I lie. Actually, that's not true. You'd have to beat them by a solid margin. It'd have to be a 4-goal margin for them to go above you.
Yeah.
So you're safe. You're safe.
I'm not bothered by that at this stage of the season, though. It's not. It doesn't mean anything. And really, I don't know.
Have you been asked to? Because back in the day, what would have normally have happened, guys? A week like this, you'd get a call by someone going, "We want to sit you down with an Arsenal fan and just let you guys go at it."
Yeah. So
have you had that this week?
Yeah, I had a conversation with guys at Sporting Intel. I think they're called a Sporting.
He's gone for him.
Live.
Name dropping.
No, well, I did it. So it's not a problem. Yeah. But they contacted me and said, will you come on and talk preview the game with an Arsenal fan? And I said, I will, but I'm not doing this. Oh, who's better, Tottenham or Arsenal? Who's going to finish higher? Yeah. Who's got the better centre forward? I'm not having that conversation.
Who's the bigger club?
Who's the bigger club? It's all bollocks. It doesn't mean anything, right? And also I did 606 again with Sutton and Savage, right? And I get it. In that instance, it's a lot of fun. Plus, it's BBC, so it's hard to say no to that, right? Mm-hmm. It has value just by being on it. But they asked these questions, and so one of them was, "What's more significant European glory? Tottenham's Cup Winners' Cup win in 1967, or 63, or wherever it was, or Chelsea winning the Champions League twice in the last 10 years." And I said, "I'm not. What do you
yeah.
What do you want me to?
That is crap. That is terrible.
What can I say?" So I said, "You're asking me to defend something that can't be defended. Obviously, Chelsea.
They're asking you to look stupid so they can clip that up and put that out." Right.
So and I just said, to them, I just refused to do it, but it's fine because it was in the spirit of, it's just having a laugh. It's nothing serious. Yeah. You know what I mean? In that instance, it's clear that everybody's laughing at each other, kind of thing. So it wasn't a big problem. And I made fun of myself because of it. But this other thing, I said, look, I'm not doing it. If you're going to put me in front of Ty from Arsenal Fan TV, and we're going to have to have one of those conversations about Spurs and Arsenal, which means nothing other than getting clips for you to clip up, then I'm not doing it. And so we did it. I had a conversation, a normal conversation about the game, previewing it with Pippa from Arsenal Fan TV. And, she's lovely anyway.
She's nice, Pippa, yeah.
Yeah, she is.
With the game itself, so here's Jaffin's season bingo has been completed last week. I've sent that over to Louis today. So I don't know, Louis, if you can make that a little bit prettier. For those of you who don't know, coming to the podcast new and fresh, generally I would say go back to the start of all of it. But otherwise, if you're here now, just give it a chance. But we have our season bingo of things that we think might happen. In terms of the North London derby, it'd be good to see if anyone's got any shouts for that. My one is that regardless of how the game is, there will be a spin on how far these two teams have regressed and how this used to be a really high level fixture and now it's rubbish. Bit like Arsenal Man United, they kind of do that all the time now.
Yeah.
But that said, do you think that the sort of meltdown or this kind of fallout after a North London derby in previous years would have been heftier than this year? Or do you think the kind of grumblings that are around the way that you guys are playing and the way that they're playing, do you think the grumblings would be kind of stronger if you were to lose this one?
It's about relevancy, right? So if you're going for a top four race, and there is Arsenal and Tottenham that are fighting for that final spot, then Sky Sports are interested. But right now, they're not going to be interested in at what we currently are as two mid-table clubs.
Because the story, you're right there. That's a really good point. Because the story after this, and it just is not the team that wins. It's about the team that loses, isn't it?
The story, yes, exactly. So the story about this is who's going to last longer in the job. If it doesn't matter if as Arsenal fans are happier now, but fundamentally they've had 1-0 wins, pretty scrappy 1-0 wins, comparable to ours. Like I said, if we beat them at the Emirates, then it pressure's back on Arteta. So if that'll be, and if we lose, it'll be like, oh, maybe Nuno's not right for the job. So it'll be that kind of thing, and that's the kind of how they turn the narrative. But you're right, the jeopardy and the interest isn't there because Sky Sports have a vested interest in promoting do you know what? They're not just as on a journalistic level.
That is the story. Yeah, that is where the story is. Yeah.
So it's not a problem. It's not. There's nothing insidious about that. It just is. And Spurs, you have to earn your right to be talked about. You can't just be talked about because you are a big club, right? And right now we're playing boring football. Arsenal aren't that much better. And so no one wants to talk about us, and serves us right. Do you know what I mean?
It's such a knife edge for Arsenal actually, because if they win the game, they'll have won 3, lost 3. But the games they would have lost to Brentford opening day, Man City and Chelsea. But if they lose, then people will go, they've lost 2/3 of their 3/4 of their games. They've lost 4 out of 6. He's got a gut. It's huge, isn't it?
I mean, look, you'd have that would be.
That is the story.
That's a story, and it's also a completely logical viewpoint and acceptable. This is not usually will I agree with Arsenal fans when they want to get rid of their manager, right? I won't.
Yeah,
but Arteta's been there long enough, and he shouldn't be losing the first 4 games of the season if that is indeed what happens.
Yeah. But it's amazing though the spin over it will be 1 game. We're still at that crux. I guess it's all crux moments, but it's the swing is so heavy. Especially when you're the fan base is obviously going to be fuming if they lose to you guys.
Yeah, of course. Well, you know what we talked about. We talked about what the title could be is are Arsenal taking over North London once again? That's what the title was going to be. I think, Jim, that's what I came up with. Yeah. Is the power shifting back?
I mean,
Arsenal fans out there will argue that the power never shifted in the first place.
Yeah.
The fact is, Arsenal haven't finished above Tottenham for 6 years or 5 years. So
I think the power's definitely shifted for sure. You haven't lost to them in a long time, have you?
I think we lost last season. Yeah.
Did you? Oh, my bad.
Remember. Yeah. No, we have lost to them, but it's just about not finishing below them.
Here's a question for you, because it comes from Twitter. Deepak. He says, has Kane grown his stature at the cost of Spurs? As he became undroppable, Spurs could never recruit another decent striker to challenge him or push him. As a result, whenever he got injured, brackets, dodgy ankles, or now disengaged, he's been injured by getting disengaged, or playing as a midfielder, Spurs have no choice because they can't take him off and he's not helping the team.
So there's a couple of things here. Have we been disadvantaged? No, he's done much.
Has he taken more than he's given? Not really. He's given more.
Absolutely not. It's madness. Anybody would have him. That's not. I mean, I understand what he's saying, but
I get the point.
Nonsense, right? He became undroppable, which made it so that any striker with any kind of, ambition isn't going to join Tottenham because he's not going to get in the side. But if you look at statistically, when we haven't had Harry Kane in the team, we've coped perfectly well. Can you just scroll back up so I see his last point?
Yes.
So the other thing is, this is such a lazy thing, is that Harry Kane playing as a midfielder. He hasn't played in midfielder. He's never played in midfield. Since Jose Mourinho and even parts of Pochettino, he's played between a 9 and a 10, and has often dropped back to link up play. It's just suddenly he's like, oh, he's playing in midfield. It's like it's not fact. It's not a reality. He drops deep. He always has dropped deep. When he's in his youth career, he played as a number 10 pretty much throughout it. So,
but he's dropping too deep, isn't he?
It depends on the tactics.
Or too much.
Not at all. It's a massive
I
part.
think he's hurt. I said it earlier in the week. I think he's hurting you guys a little bit in the fact that, to allow you to. I don't think he trusts your midfield.
5 games in, Jim.
I know, but I don't think he trusts your midfield. So he comes.
2 league games. He's played 2 league games, and now he's hurting Spurs.
But that style of play, I think, even if he wants to go and do that, fine. If you've got all these runners, and I do think I think you're really missing Mora and Bergwijn, having more options around him, because that's when he's better, because he has got that vision. But when you haven't got those players around you, then he needs to go. Well, I need to stay further up the pitch, I think.
But then he's completely isolated by it. Look, he's remember 2 things. He's played 2 games this season, right? And Spurs are poor, so people are jumping on it. In one of those games against Palace, we were decimated. We had a midfield of Winks, so there wasn't going to be anything else. Winks, Skip. We had players that had barely trained. And then against Chelsea, we remember half the team that played in that. 3 of the players that played in that game, but only just arrived back the night before. And then you've got Son, who wasn't fit. So it's just there are reasons why this thing happens. And it's I get why people could be critical of Kane because of what he's done in the past, and understand it, but it's way too early. Way too early. There's lots of problems that aren't anything to do with Harry Kane, with the reason why we're not playing. But
more on that actually on TikTok. Ollie Sage, who's helped me with my TikTok, is just said that in the chat. So I've got a TikTok. Go check it out. There's stuff on that which you'll probably disagree with. Maybe go check it out and find out. Right, let's dive into this, mate, because there's lots to get through. So much to get through. We've got in this football chat, we'll be talking about. I've had another incident at the gym. Gonna have to talk about that, sadly. And a buffet talk, which is it's going to be epic. Let's go straight to the big Jim Big Laugh Award. Oh, here, actually, final question. Final football chat. Then we must move on because there's too much of it. Man City, Chelsea, right? I think a lot of people think those are the top 2 at the moment, right? Does whoever wins that game, do you make them favourites then for the rest of the season? Just because, it would be something. It would be too big a game. It'd be too much for me to take it from that. But I feel like we're kind of people are hoping that Man City are gonna falter because they want it to be interesting.
Yeah.
But do Chelsea then, if they win that game, having the record that they've had against Man City, are they miles ahead of them?
What is the record they've had? Is it good?
Well, there's they beat them in the semi-final. They beat them I think they beat them in the league. Although Man City played a really changed side. They beat them in the Champions League, obviously as well.
Well, is this? They're playing each other this weekend?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it will be them, probably them too. And we do want to see City falter because they were so good last year. And Chelsea, all I can say from watching them, and when you're in the ground, you just see the whole pitch. It's different from watching it on the telly. And I was high up, so I could literally look at Chelsea's formation and what they were doing. They are so organised. It's unreal. I know they've got the players. They're fantastic going forward, and they've got all of the technical skill of sort of Mount and Kai Havertz, and then they've got the bluster of Werner to come on if they need it. And then naturally you've got Lukaku up top. So they've got that forward line that will serve them well. But off the ball, it was so difficult. It was so, they just don't make mistakes. And when I say don't make mistakes, they don't commit when they shouldn't. They don't overpress when and make it easy to play through them. And it isn't like they can like Spurs defensively when we don't have the ball, we become compact and narrow, right? Similar to the way Leicester did when they won the league. It's like compact, narrow, give the ball out wide, let them cross it in and we sweep it up. That's the kind of idea. Whereas Chelsea didn't do that. They just knew their positions perfectly. And you think if they have that discipline and they understand the gameplay and then add in the way they do, and then add on top of that the quality, then it's just based on what I saw, and it's a lot to take that assumption. But the gap between the same stuff that's happening at City isn't huge. So Chelsea are at the start, or sort of moving towards the start of their cycle, or in the peak of their cycle with a fresh blood, whereas City, perhaps at the end, and they didn't strengthen in the right place. They bought Grealish when like I've said, they should have spent it on a number 9. I don't know. It's going to be interesting. It's much more interesting than last year for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Joe Bailey, what a joke that they're able to sub on Kante. I mean, that is a great point.
Mate, he killed us. He absolutely killed us. We were, like I said, in the first half, we were really good. And then second half, we started to tire. They brought Kante on, and it was like, he's just so good. Like for him to bring him off the bench, we've had to play Højbjerg practically in every minute, and they're just bringing someone who's like 5 times the player of Højbjerg off the bench just to kill the game.
And Saul? Like Saul's like nowhere near it. Nowhere near the squad. Like, the starting 11. Like because that hurts. Like Saul Niguez, the guy they bought from Atletico Madrid.
I never heard of him.
They literally just brought. I mean, he played the game before, but I think that does hurt when you're like, right, we've got to be at our maximum here and hope that it goes well for us. You get to half time and then they make that change in the pit of your stomach. You're like, I can imagine why they completely fell away with the pressing and stuff.
It just meant that it meant that he just capitalizes or creates mayhem in your tactical plan. And he capitalizes on any error and creates. I don't know how he does it. It's not even just about him harrying and tackling. His ability to read the game and know exactly when he needs to disrupt and go.
He was quite attacking, wasn't he, as well?
He's very underrated in how well he brings the ball forward. And so
he's well good.
Yes, and this is the difference. And we talked about this. We talked a lot about this on the pod this week about the difference between Tottenham and Chelsea. Isn't necessarily the size of the football club, but it's just what they're willing to do and invest, and the players they're willing to get. So they needed a centre back. They went out and got Thiago Silva on God knows how much money each week. They needed a number 9. Just all right. Well, if we can't have Kane or we can't have Haaland, let's go and get Lukaku, who's absolutely killing it in Italy. And then the same thing with Kante. All right, well, who's the best defensive midfielder in the league or Europe? Well, Leicester have him. Let's just pay Leicester the money, give him the 120 grand a week he wants and get him. Spurs' alternative is, Højbjerg's doing all right at Southampton. Let's get him in. And that's the difference between the football clubs. It's, they're looking at De Ligt now. They're looking to bring in De Ligt.
Are they? Wow.
Yeah, there's sort of rumours like Mino Raiola has started talking about him potentially leaving Juve, saying he's the best centre-back in Europe and not. And Chelsea are the ones that go, yeah, we'll have him. He's good. He's good. So let's go and get him.
Spurs would never go for De Ligt.
We know that he wouldn't. We know we would never go for De Ligt because it's almost, even as fans, we see him as beyond us. We're not going to pay that money. We know what Daniel Levy's like. Chelsea fan, there isn't a Chelsea fan out there that doesn't doubt that if we're in for De Ligt, that they're likely to get him. And that's the difference.
And do you know what? I think it'd be interesting to see how we look at it down the road where all the talk about Kane and how much you should be getting for him. And of course, the contract is a big part of all of that.
Yeah.
But, I can't believe I'm even saying this, but like 95 million or whatever it is for Lukaku. And of course, remember they sold a couple of sold Abraham, sold Tomori. And so you're not really spent much there. In terms of value for money, 95 million on Lukaku looks, just perfect for them because he is perfect for them.
They spent. I looked on Transfer Market the other day. They spent 100 million, right, more or less than they spent 100 million pound more than they retrieved, but they did receive some. But that's it, Jim. Is that we would never have bought Lukaku unless we'd have sold enough money to recoup, sold enough players to recoup that money. Whereas Abramovich is willing to speculate. When they were banned from the transfer market, he stockpiled the money and then he spent it quickly on Kai Havertz, on Werner, and probably on Thiago Silva's wages as well. Where would that stockpiling of money go if it was ENIC and Tottenham? I'm not sure. I'm not 100% sure it'll go straight back into transfers. But the thing is, and we've talked about this before, is the motives of Abramovich are completely different from the motives of Daniel Levy, and it goes beyond football. So, Chelsea are fundamentally benefiting from Abramovich's previously heinous acts.
Bring it. There we go.
Well, just if you think I'm talking bullshit, read Matthew Saeed's article.
Dropping bombs each week. Ronaldo last week, Abramovich this week. Lifting the lid.
Quickly on Ronaldo, where I remember, the poll, the what's it called? The bingo. One of them was that Ronaldo. Remember, he's getting angry because I was slagging off Ronaldo. Yeah. Ronaldo will score more than your entire team. It might happen. It could happen. He's got 3 goals. Ronaldo's got 5 or something.
I watched Howson was talking about Man United, obviously, and he's saying the thing with Ronaldo is you start to a point. You can look at it and you go, you start the game 1-0 up because Ronaldo scores every week, like guaranteed. So to a point, you're always starting 1 goal up. Like that's how great he is. Outrageous. Right. Yeah. Too much football talk. Enough. Right. Jim's Big Laugh Award. Just to say, if you're watching for the first time, it's about to get a little bit weird. But you might enjoy it, so stick around and check out the previous pods and become a patron if you want to.
Is Jim's Big Laugh Award now just a quote of the pod?
All I can say is that I didn't realise how weird last week's pod was, and these bits made me laugh out loud, and thus they've made it in there. I think it's sort of a bit of a merging, an amalgamation of the two. Every week I have a look at the comments. This show is made from your comments every single week, so make sure you get involved. And when they make me laugh out loud, I will put them as nominees for the Jim Big Laugh Award. Here are a few. They are quotes, generally. Hugo Holm. There is a peak time that your willy should be out in the changing rooms.
We agree on about 10 seconds, didn't we?
That was pretty quickly. Well, someone actually... Well, we speak about that a bit later on. Actually, I'll go to it now. In terms of quick dip into gym talk. Because someone said... Where is it? Have I gone past it?
Yeah, there.
There you go. There we go. Brian Glover. Hey Glover. You should drop the pants, grab the new ones, then put them on. 15 seconds max. Now,
I can deal with that.
But wait. What I want to say about this. So last week I had a rant about the gym. I've got more to talk about with that a little bit later on. But just on this 15-second moment of... so what I was moaning about last week was people just walking around too much. But with the 15-second thing, Brian, I'm slightly concerned about your behaviour there. Because let's just like you count, like if you count 15 seconds, right? So okay, right.
It's quite a long time.
Hang on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Leave them there on your knees for a bit. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's too long.
That is long. That is long, Jim. But I wouldn't start noticing it if it did take that long, right? That in my opinion.
Are you sure?
It's too long for me.
Depends when you catch the first look, because if you catch the first look and you're getting yourself sorted out and you go, oh, he's naked, is he? Okay, I'll look over here.
Yeah.
And then
but the thing is, if
5 seconds later, you're gonna have another look. You're gonna go, you're still naked.
I think you'd go quicker than that. If you was completely naked, you go quicker than that. If you put a shirt on or t-shirt on before your pants, that's tricking other people because they might look and think that you're not. You know, you would have pants on, but they'd just see a little bell hanging below the rim.
Yeah. That's nothing. Nothing makes your penis look smaller than wearing a shirt on top.
My mate Alex, he was talking about how he used to send like nudes. Like he used to send, like when he's dating, he still is dating, but he's like, you get to a certain stage where starts becoming sexy, and so she might say, "I could send us a picture of your body, or something." And he would he's like, "Well, I'm a bit fat. I'm a bit retarded. I don't really like the top of me." Right? He lost a bit of weight. He's going gym and what, but at the time, he didn't really like the top of him. So he's like, "Got to do it though, because I can't not do it because you asked for it, and I don't." And she sent something already,
right? So
he's like, I took all my clothes off and left the t-shirt on and stood in front of the mirror. He said he took a picture and he said I look like a baby at the beach.
Dear. What is he? What? He's not aroused.
I mean, I would imagine he'd got himself. I don't know. He didn't mention that. We didn't talk about the arousal state, but I mean, he's not going to send a flaccid penis.
We don't know when you're just not fully through. You're sending a terrible picture of yourself.
Go on, show us your dick, right? And he just sends like
a
little flaccid.
All right,
yeah, that's what it's looking like right now. I'm not entirely convinced that women enjoy receiving any. I might be wrong.
If you're a female, let us know. So that's a nominee. More gym chat later. Shah, quote of the pod, he's eating 1,040 eggs in a year. He's eating 1,040 eggs in a year. Go back to the second half of last week's podcast, you'll understand that. That was Beating the System. We've got some Beating the System this week. And Library Gary, who is an absolute OG. I've seen that name for years, and I hope you're well, my friend. Quotes of the week. And also a nominee. I could batter Hitler. He'd be clinical, but the anger in my heart and the duty in my soul would get me over the line.
Duty in my soul. Amazing.
And finally, this made me laugh. Luke Edgerton. These nominees are a culmination of how weird the pod was last week, and this, I totally forgot we even spoke about this. But Luke Edgerton, Steve Bruce chat. I watched this a couple of hours before I had to come into work at a grocery store. After working for about an hour, a man approached me. He asked, "Do you have any frozen Cornish pasties out the back as the shelf is empty?"
Why would he ask that?
I proceeded to look for the Cornish pasties, which I could not find. I returned to the man. Instead of telling him we're all out of Cornish pasties, I proceeded to, with the pod fresh in my mind, to say to the man, "We are all out of Steve Bruce." Before I could correct myself, the man gave me a grunt and walked away.
Fantastically.
So that is a possible option as well. Oh, and sorry, final nominee. This is absolutely bizarre with the quotes. So again, if you're new to this, for some reason, our people are called slugs, and there are different kinds.
Collective noun.
Collective
the people
noun,
that enjoy the podcast are called a slug.
Yeah. AVFC Smith, genuinely close to requesting the Jaffin trumpet intro song to be played at my funeral, just in case. And Jack Richardson, the replies got me here. Freshly cremated slug. SWJ then said, "This is now the new elite level of slug. Level 1, dry slug. Level 2, moist slug. Level 3, cremated slug." McSlash then said, "Yeah, maybe the intro music followed by a quick 'Is anyone sexually aroused?' would be a fitting send-off to a deceased slug. The funeral attendees have to answer honestly."
Honestly, no.
And SWJ replied to that, said, that would be a send-off that any self-respecting slug would be honoured to receive. Anything less than a 40% average arousal rate would be disrespectful to the deceased. Amazing. I can never figure out if it's new depths or new heights that we're
definitely
going to. Comments of the week. We've done that because that was the Nottingham Forest stuff. Oh yeah, this was funny. Fernando Flynn. Just checking in. I might not be a moist slug, but I'm a fairly strong Allcott ultra. That reads to me that he doesn't like you, Flav. Just to be clear.
No, fair enough. It's completely acceptable.
So I downloaded some stuff to listen to on a mountain walk in Northern Ireland this weekend, including this episode, so last week's episode. But I started with Jim's interview with Chris Wilder. A lovely
talk.
Lovely talk about his career so far. That's on the League of 72 channel. Going live at 4 today, actually, if you want to check it out. But for some reason, when I used my earphones to unpause it halfway up, it didn't go back to the interview. It went straight to this podcast that I also downloaded. So with no way of telling it was Jaffin before the music, I thought that James Lawrence Allcott had spent however many months working on stuff with the League of 72, had the chance to interview one of the most intriguing British managers at the moment, and decided to segue the convo away from his career aspirations, meeting Sir Alex Ferguson, and reflection on his struggle, and focus solely on the topic of penises and man-spreading and changing rooms. Oh dear. Imagine that. He would have been like, what?
Yeah.
What? What's he done? He's lost it. Oh God, what's he done? James has got confused.
He's just sitting there and he's walking. He's like, I've had a stroke.
Yeah, or maybe I've just he's gone. Oh, James has spent so much time doing this podcast over the last few years. He's forgotten where the line is in chatting. So, Chris, you ever seen Terry Venables' penis?
Yeah. Yeah, you should have asked them about the footballers' wangs. You should have brought that into your interview.
I'm sure he's seen plenty.
Yeah, how many footballers' wangs have you seen in your life? If you had to estimate how many footballers' wangs Chris Wilder's seen in his lifetime, how many do you reckon?
Oh wow! I mean, 20-year career.
Yeah.
He moved around a bit as well.
He seemed like
thousands.
So I wonder if you're going like it's remarkable, isn't it? If you're into football, you've seen more dicks than almost anybody else on the planet.
Yeah, that's true.
And the thing is when you're in a room full of
and no one's capitalizing on that knowledge. That's the sad thing.
You can't help but your eyes dart. It's like,
yeah,
can't do anything. So look, when you're in a changing room, that's it's just par for the course. It's weird if you don't look, I think.
Yeah, I wonder if he's got any sort of. I mean, once it gets to that point where like everyone's just naked. Like, you can imagine? How do you scan? That. Do you scan or do you just go? Yeah, lads. Yeah.
Well, you think it's like in rugby is that they don't even pretend, do they? They don't they might be naked, but then they'll up the ante, don't they?
Yeah, they've got like handshakes with their penises, haven't they? Rugby players.
I mean that's too much.
Ready for this link? Speaking of loose ends, I thought this is a new bit that if we have comments that revolve around football, and we ask a couple of questions, I'll just quickly touch on them. Last week, I asked the question, what does Ollie need to do for it to be a success? Does he have to go and win it? Just to clear that up, Bob Green, YT, YouTube, I presume, said Ollie needs 85 points, a semi-final in the Champions League, and a cup. Just to be clear.
I get that. That's probably enough. Did you see what he said yesterday? They give it a go. That's all you can ask for. No.
Oh, they lost it. Is that what he said?
They lost to West Ham at home 1-0.
Not everyone can be in the last 16 of the League Cup, Flav. Not everyone can be in there, I'm afraid.
I want to ask you about this. I saw a wonderful video of you and your dad just winning, put the mighty Everton out of the Carabao Cup, and great video. And what happened? You deleted it.
I did delete it. So I'm happy to go through it now because I just need to. I might have to download it quickly because what I don't remember is I don't remember basically what happened during it. So we beat, for those of you who don't know, Queen's Park Rangers will face Sunderland at home in the next round, which is that's as good as we could have got, really. No disrespect to Sunderland. So we could be in the proper quarterfinals if we can win that one at home. So absolutely buzzing about that, by the way. And something's happening here. And I honestly don't know what I'd do if we got to imagine Rangers got to a semi-final or something. Come on. Brentford take on Stoke City. So any of the old Great Touch lads, you can enjoy that as well because they're taking on each other.
Your dad, look how much it means to your dad. Bless him.
So this is, I put this up, right? And I hadn't seen it and I don't really remember celebrating.
What?
And but then when I watched it back, I was like, oh God, what's that? Why have I done that? And so I was like, I don't need it. I'm just going to take this down. There's no need for me to keep up. But if we break it down, it is quite interesting because there's a moment. Here it is. So here's the final penalty. Dad flies off. Did you see Dad fly off there?
Yeah. He's just got the sort of...
No, actually,
Jim, do me a favour. Just let it play through because I want to see if I can tell what you're talking about.
Right. Okay. Right. Here we go. Right. But considering you're hoping it's going to be a moment with my dad, and he's gone. Fingers everywhere.
Oh, there. That. I see. It doesn't fit with the plan, does it?
So here we go. It is, yeah. And it's that.
Look, I get. You could just say you're doing this.
So no. Look, the facts are I'm giving him the finger, sure, and I don't remember doing it at all.
Yeah. Did anyone mention it?
Yeah, quite a few people mentioned it, and so which is fine. But the point, basically, 2 penalties before that. We'd saved it. The goalie had saved it, and the ref who'd been winding me up the whole game, he said he'd come off his line. I was like, oh, come on. And so then the guy got to retake the penalty and saved it, and I was like, oh. So then when we turned back round, that was more at the ref than at the Everton fans. But I was thinking, if I then go, to be honest, that was more at the ref, then people would just go, no, you're going after the Everton fans. But yeah, it's mad. I didn't even see that coming. Things that,
in my opinion, is authentic support.
They're absolute joy. That is so funny. Anyway, so we are on the precipice of something amazing.
We could get each other, Jim.
Oh God, I don't know if everyone saw. Did everyone see that? Have you missed that whole thing? I don't know if I was on the right thing. Hang on, I'll play it one last time just in case people haven't seen it. So there he's flying off. Everyone's in. The lad in front of me getting stuck in as well. Bloody loving it. And finger. 7 pieces of chewing gum on that one as well.
Yeah, you
had
the
tension
lot of
build.
Gum. That was the other thing. Jim, we could get each other. We have Burnley away, and you've got Sunderland at home. Spurs, you never know. If we both get through, there's a 1 in 4 chance.
Mate, I'm so excited about Sunderland, and you just watch us lose it now. You just watch us lose it.
There's absolutely no guarantee that Spurs are going to beat Burnley away, to be fair.
True.
No guarantee that we're actually going to win a game ever again.
Amazing, isn't it? Next week, you'll be on here going, we can get top 4. We can get top 4.
Yeah. It's prerogative of a football fan.
I met once. So this is a very scary, dangerous, weird road we're going down here. And
why?
Because I don't know if these are real or not. And they're just strange.
It may be.
So the joy of Roy seems to be dying down. That's fine. But we've got a few I met once. Let me read out the weirdest one first.
Okay.
Sean Smith. I once met Chris Akabusi. So for those of you, Chris Akabusi was a runner in the 90s. 400-metre hurdles, I think. Behind a local bakery on my way to church. He was rummaging through some bins. Puzzled, I inquired what he was doing. Grish said that the bakery threw away a lot of donuts and buns that were still perfectly edible, and implored me to help him fill a Hessian bag as he ate an eclair, holding it with vigour that the cream filling pissed down his mesh tank top and onto his 1986 silver medal. There wasn't Olympics in 1986. Once the bag was filled, he gave me a Chelsea bun, shook my hand that was covered in icing sugar. Nice guy, although I do believe the confectionery were indeed off, as I did have a dicky tummy for the days after. So weird.
I like that. That's good.
Cam Wallace. Sorry, go on.
Yeah. Well, I I like it. I often like the ones that you can. Is it true or not true? So if you can convince.
Just rein it in a bit. Just rein in a bit. I'm pretty sure that's not true.
He's still wearing his silver medal from 1986.
Yeah. Cam Wallace. I met John Barnes at a nightclub at a mate's 18th birthday. Everyone is smashed, and I've gone outside for some air. As I'm walking outside, I spot a familiar face. The realisation hit me that it was in fact John Barnes. I asked him for a photo and continued about the night. Rushed outside to send the photos to my dad and his mates, and the first response was, "Get him to do the rap." Within seconds of me being back inside, there he was at the DJ booth doing the rap to World in Motion and the Sugar Hill Gang. Night made. Do you know what I did? Because as I started reading that, I thought with John Barnes, I can imagine if you popped out to I don't know, the smoking area and no one's really there and you're just on your phone and then you look up and you see John Barnes and something will happen. I can imagine him whimsically just delivering a line. I don't know, someone's having problems with a girlfriend and then finishes the phone call and then John Barnes goes, "You've got to," what's the line? "You've got to give and hold and do it at the right time." He's desperate to get the rap in himself.
Didn't he? When we did the FBAs, he did that, didn't he? There.
Yeah, because I would have thought, he had an incredible playing career. I would have thought he'd want to talk about that a little bit more, but he just wants to do the rap, doesn't he, John? Just wants to do the rap.
Can I do it now? Can I do
the rap? Well, let's ask. Let's talk about some of the challenges you faced. No, well, can I? I just want to do the rap.
Can you do the rap, please?
And finally, actually, we've got a few more, but we'll leave some for next time. Actually, sorry, this is too good and too weird. Tom Robson. I saw Peter Beardsley at a shop in Ponteland once. I told him how cool it was to meet him in person, but I didn't want to be a twat and bother him and ask him for photos or anything. He said, "Oh, like you're doing now?" "Oh, like you're doing now?" I was taken aback, and all I could say was, "Huh?" But he kept cutting me off and going, "Heh, heh, heh," and closing his hand shut in front of my face.
Oh, God.
I walked away and continued with my shopping, and I heard him chuckle as I walked off. When I came to pay for my stuff up front, I saw him trying to walk out the doors with 15 chicken wraps in his puffer jacket without paying. A girl at the counter was very nice about it and professional and was like, "Sir, you need to pay for those first." At first, he kept pretending to be tired and not hear her, but eventually turned back around and brought them to the counter.
So tired.
Brought them to the counter. This is so weird.
Tired.
When she took one of the...
to be deaf. He's like, "Oh, God, I'm so tired." After just doing this in someone's face. So tired.
Yeah, that's true. When she took one of the wraps and started scanning it multiple times, he stopped her and told her to scan them each individually to prevent any electrical interference. And then turned around and winked at me. I don't even think that's a word. After she scanned each wrap and put them in a bag and started to say the price, he kept interrupting her by yawning very loudly. Really weird experience, but what a lovely bloke.
Right, that's
so weird. I don't think this is working, just to be clear, but I almost needed to read them out in the pod just to understand. There's a line.
That's funny.
You're okay with that?
I think that's funny.
So yeah, I thought you might prefer the psychedelic stuff. Because that is a weird little exchange. It made me feel a bit funny at the end.
It's the pretending to be tired bit. Oh, I'm just so tired.
Yeah. Peter Beardsley, you're going to have to pay for those. Oh, God.
Disgraced Peter Beardsley.
Yeah.
What's he up to now?
I don't know. Well, stealing chicken wraps, it seems. Samism can hit you at any time. Quick in and out here. A couple of good ones. Matthew Blake, Samism. My godmother once referred to something as a different kettle of bells, confusing a different ball game and a whole kettle of fish. And Matthew Holmes, Samism from my girlfriend, said her excitement was off the roof. Very good. I asked if she meant through the scale. Didn't go down well. Yeah, you got to be careful with that. Right, here we are. Buffet talk. Wow. What a week I've had, Flav. What a week I've had. So, let me explain to you what happened. I was in the Holiday Inn in Stratford. It was a very nice hotel.
Yes.
Considering it was a Holiday Inn. And I was like, do I get breakfast? Yeah, breakfast included. Yes!
Yes, come on.
Stumbling blocks. As soon as I got there, though, very clever from them. They had in the hot buffet stuff area, they had a person doing it. Wasn't self-serve.
Oh.
Yeah. So I was like, oh no. And I was like, you've got me there. You've got me there because I'm too timid to go.
For seconds,
yeah, or for too much of that. Also, I had a problem with the fact that I had stuff to do. Previously with breakfast buffets, if I've got nothing to do, I will make myself ill and just deal with the consequences for the rest of the day. But on this occasion, I had stuff to do, so I didn't want to feel like outrageously bloated. In terms of the breakfast buffet itself, of course, I've got a couple of sausages in there. Hash browns they had, like nice ones as well, which was great. But the star of the show was something that I probably haven't had for about 15 years. But anyone who's thinking about going down that road again, please do it, because I went back for 2 of the little boxes of Frosties. I haven't had Frosties for about... Mate, they were so good. Mate, they were so good.
Frosties.
Mate, they were amazing. I haven't had Frosties.
Everyone knows what Frosties taste like. Just sugar on a cornflake.
I know, mate. It was good, though. It was so good. I haven't had it for so long. Now, here's the amazing thing. And I am going to name... It's not naming and shaming, because it's elite work from someone who I aim to be, really, down the road. Where is he? So, Paul Dempsey was...
You don't aim to be Paul Dempsey.
Huh?
You might aim to have these level of success, but you wouldn't want to be him.
Okay. Well, Paul Dempsey is a BT Sport presenter.
He's also not that great.
Okay,
anyway,
well, let's not concentrate on that.
Besides the point.
So I get in there and I'm like, I know that face. And Paul Dempsey's in the hotel. I guess he's got the big fight this week. He does does boxing stuff. I think he's done golf as well. Yeah. And he wasn't taking any prisoners. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, but he absolutely smashed the buffet.
So yeah, I went up there and I was like, okay, right. I was just getting up. I was just doing a lap. You know, sometimes you just do a lap just to kind of go, right, where is everything? Where do I want to go? How do I want to tackle this breakfast buffet? And as that's happening, I'll have sort of having a quick look at the sort of hot stuff that the guys dishing out. And Paul's going to town. It was unbelievable.
How many sausages did he have on there?
He had 3 sausages. He had 3 hash browns. And so this is how it played out. I literally watched him do it. And I smiled to myself. He's going through it. He's going like, so scrambled eggs, beads, I'll get 3 sausage, bacon, 2 hash browns. And then he snapped. He just snapped. He said, mate, you're going to need to get a bigger plate. He just told him. I was like... I'm not playing by your rules, son. Do you think this is my first hotel? Do you think this is my first breakfast buffet? I want you to put that plate to the side, get a bigger plate, and fill it up properly.
Please, are you being 100% honest? He said that.
I promise you. I swear on my life. He went. He might not have said mate. I think he actually knew the guy's name somehow. He went, you're going to have to get a bigger plate.
David.
Not I'm going to need a bigger plate. You're going to have to get a bigger plate. How good's that? It's so good.
Did he get a bigger plate?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And the rest of us, because they were quite disappointing sized plates. But he was like, I'm going to need a bigger plate.
Do you know what it probably is? Because you don't necessarily need a bigger plate. We probably don't need to eat as much as we can eat in a buffet to be full. But you just think because it's free. And you just pile it on. That's why they give you sort of... There's somewhere between like dinner plates and like a toast plate, isn't it?
But good strategy on their part in terms of like getting someone to do it, because say you go up for your 4th go, they're going to go, you're going to get a look then. And I didn't do that because of the look.
I am quite excited about my Babe, are we going to Holiday Inn? Yeah, we're going Holiday Inn.
Amazing.
I'm quite excited about the breakfast.
Mm.
But the one thing you just mentioned there, scrambled eggs. Are they fried eggs?
Yeah, I actually had fried eggs. Yeah.
I much prefer that.
I think you can get more eggs. You can get through more eggs, to be honest, that way.
I think fried egg is my favourite part of a fry up. It's the bit that I have in every spoon. I mean, every forkful. I'll always have a little bit of egg in there.
A little bit.
You know, sometimes you don't touch the hash brown. Sometimes you have a sausage, beans, and a bit of egg.
That's a great question. When are you eating the hash brown? I think I find myself always. I've got one. I want a little. Do you? I want little elements of crunch along the way. So
I don't start with it.
No, you don't start with it. No.
Yeah.
So it was an honour to just to see someone at the peak of his powers just dominating a breakfast buffet like that. You're going to need to get me a bigger plate. Brilliant. So good. Couple of comments on the old buffet. Oliver Gilly, which club? Oh yeah, last week we spoke about which club are you at? Which club are you when you're at the buffet? Might be the lowest scrape of the barrel in the history of this podcast. I appreciate the commitment from Jim to unearthing a bit, which will probably not even make it 2 weeks. So here goes. I'm probably Norwich. Naive at times, yes, but always provide an entertaining 90 minutes and capable of a spectacular performance once in a while. Very good.
Dempsey's Chelsea, isn't he? Just I'm getting what I want.
Yeah, exactly.
I want free
ruthless.
Sausages. I want free sausages. No one just gets free sausages. A free sausage is not a standard on a fry up, is it? It's two at most.
Well, you go. If it's self-serve, you might go. You go 1, 2.
I don't know.
Quick look over each shoulder. 3, and maybe hide it underneath something else. But when it's the bloke going 3 sausages,
put another one on there.
2 hash browns.
He's put 2 sausages in. And he goes, put another sausage on there.
Yeah.
You got 2. Put another sausage on there, please.
Yeah.
You've got 2 already, Paul. Just put another one on.
Higher standards.
I ain't leaving. Get me another.
You're gonna need to get me a bigger plate whilst you're at it. Amazing. I just loved it. I literally didn't blink.
I can imagine you just sitting there. You've got your plate and the fork, and you're just looking at him. Like
Teach me. Yeah.
What did he just say? And you just look around to see if anyone has heard him, and then back at him.
Mm.
You're gonna need to give me a bigger.
What a guy! What a guy! Literally, just stared him out after that. 3. Louis Williams, just checking in to offer up a word of warning about buffets. If you're going to one where there is a fine for not finishing your food, do not bring the missus. I didn't know this happened, but apparently maybe we need to check the small print. If there is a fine for not finishing your food, do not bring the missus. Found myself in this situation before where I was asked to finish off her food so that we'd avoid the fine, a buffet nightmare. I can't say no as I will look like a dick. It may be food you don't even like, and worst of all, it will take up all that space you've been carefully managing for your own food. Harsh on the missus, but don't hate the player, hate the game. Fair point.
Fine for not finishing your food. I've never heard of
that, but yeah.
Is that
I
so you
think
don't take too much? Is that
maybe? I wonder if it I don't know. I don't think I've had that myself, to be honest.
While you go, I'm just going to do a little Google.
Okay. Gym chat. I'll read through the comments and I'll explain my latest grievance with the gym. Actually happened last night. I quickly went. First of all, we were talking about being naked and stuff. It's just disappointing when it's going on for too long. Max Evans, a missing part of naked gym behaviour is why are they always whistling? It's criminal behaviour. It's true, isn't it? It's like It's just we know why they're whistling. They want us to look. So if they're not getting the attention they want, where they're kind of using their like peripheral vision to go like, who's checking me out? Who's checking me out? I'll put my leg up here. Someone's got to have a look, surely. And if you're not getting what they want, they'll go. Scumbags, a lot of them. Why are they whistling?
I've just found this notice. To avoid food wastage, we recommend you do not unnecessarily overfill your plate. Please take only what you can eat, as wastage will be charged for at £20.
£20? That's an awkward conversation, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I get what they're saying because the profits. I mean, I don't know how good the profit margin is as a buffet. I'm sure it's all right, but if someone said, "Oh, you're charging £20 for not eating that," there's zero chance I'd be paying it. Zero.
Good to know. Joe Court, gym changing room talk. I once worked at a leisure centre and I was on the evening shift. Before my shift, I was in the gym working on my bi-arms and got a bit sweaty. How are you? How are your bi-arms this week, Flav?
My car's in the shop, so I haven't been going to. I can't get to the gym or can't get anywhere. So yeah, I'm having to do all the body work before it goes back to the. This is boring. I haven't been to the gym.
Okay. A bit of deflation in the bi-arms. You'll have to double down next week. I got a bit sweaty, so I thought I'd best have a shower. Fair point. I get out the shower, and my centre manager was in front of me without any clothes on. Fair to say, it was the most upsetting shift I've had there. Didn't want to see it. You can't come back from that. It's a moment. It's a moment. Yeah, I had an annoyance. I don't know if you've had this, because this is the other thing that is infuriating with a gym, right? Is the twat that goes, "How long are you gonna be on there, mate? Have you just started your set?" I'm like, if I'm on it, I'm on it. Like, am I invisible? This. Let me show you what this guy did. Right, I won't be able to hear you, Flav. I'll speak up. He did this.
Okay.
Right, so I'm here at the gym. I'm doing this like one of those ones, right? And it's the levers, right? This dude, he's brought a bag. He's brought a bag in the gym, not to the lockers, in the gym. And he does this. He's like that. He's like, "Oh, you gonna be? How long more reps you got to do?" And I'm like, "Well, I've just started here, mate." Right? And he doesn't stop there. Right? He does this. He goes into the weights bit, comes out of it, stands in front of me, plonks his bag in front of me, and then starts doing stuff like this, just staring at me and in my bubble. So I did like 7 sets just to piss him off. Prick. Don't, like, there's a bubble. You know when people are in your bubble? Like, he was in my gym bubble with a bag. Who's bringing a bag in? So he can put his thing around his waist. Knob.
I don't go into the changing room. I go straight into the bag. So I do sometimes bring a bag in, but I don't carry it around the gym with me. I leave it in the corner.
But he had his gym bits for like his. I don't know if he had fucking chalk in there, something stupid. But I was just like, get out my space. That go somewhere else. Do a different exercise.
Do something else. Yeah. Luckily, because like obviously Devices isn't London, so it's not as busy. But my gym buddies are the over 70s. And they're all lovely.
But do you know, that's what people, there's all these bad eggs, where that's why you're at top of the game, because you're concentrating on knowledge, and the over 70s, they've been there, they've done it, they've lived there.
That's right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. True.
I hate that guy so much. And in the end, because they win in the end, because I got to go at some point. Do you know what I mean?
Why can't you rise above it, Jim?
I'm not. Well, I want to just go, can you go away? But he's bigger than me.
Was he? How big was he?
He's big enough. Like, not outrageously big. He was just go away. There's so many things to be done. Like, go somewhere else. It's so obvious.
Yeah.
Really winds me up.
It's like when you're in a bus and someone sits really close to you when there's loads of seats. It's like,
what are you doing? What are you doing?
What?
Yeah. I can't handle it. Oh, anyway. We'll finish off on a high with beating the system. Couple of good ones here. Tom Baldwin. As many of you may be aware, McDonald's offer a complimentary cheeseburger to students when they order a meal. My university student card has never had a date printed on it, so I'm sitting here 2 years after graduating, eating my free cheeseburger. The system, beating it, mate.
Lovely. Fucking battery. Never, just can't go through one bloody episode without something happening. Can we? Sorry. Yeah, no, so I didn't know that. So McDonald's give students a free burger.
Yeah, I think that's been going for quite a while.
Did you see the rather distressing news that the sour the chive? What's it in Domino's, the sour cream thing you get, cheese, the chive?
Yeah, I don't know if you told us in the podcast on the mailbag. You're saying it's like outrageously bad for you.
So it's got as many calories as 2 cheeseburgers. I don't think I'm ever going to have it ever again.
You will.
I will. Oh yes, of course I will.
But that's one of those where you're like, well, I'm having a Domino's, so you might as well really
dip it in.
Yeah. Well, no, but it's like it's not like I'm spoiling this low calorie pizza with this dip. You've jumped off that bridge already. Is that a phrase? I think it works though. So congratulations to Tom. Well done. And then final one. I think this encapsulates beating the system, because sometimes it's not for your own good, but it's about getting the W. Adam Hayder beating the system. Tesco meal deals, £3. Naked smoothies, £2.50. Yet they are in the meal deal. Win.
I know.
Every fucking time. Generally makes my lunch break. Yes, maybe I don't like naked smoothies. But every man knows a win in a meal deal is when you get the most value for your £3. A triple sandwich, naked smoothie, and a grab pack of crisps.
Yeah, it's massive value. I don't know how.
Can you get a triple sandwich on the meal deal?
If you go into Sainsbury's, they give you crisps, but you can have a snack. So you could have a roll or a wrap, right, or a sandwich, right, and then usually your snack is your crisp, yeah. But in Sainsbury's, you can get like a sort of cocktail sausage just with ketchup instead of a bag of crisps if you want, or a fruit bag. And the naked smoothie. They're losing so much money. It's madness.
But I'm sure that the sandwiches in Sainsbury's aren't. Oh, right, the all-day breakfast triple is in the middle. I don't touch those, Joe. I'm not sure about those. I'm not feeling that one.
All-day breakfast triple.
I'll generally go to Boots, pay £1 more. You know you're getting a solid triple there. And I just think it's better, personally. But I love where your head's at, Adam, getting a wing. Well, I think we had this on the Great Touch podcast for a bit, because it was only at Ball Street I learned the genius of the milky filter at Pret, which I don't know if people are aware of, but I remember telling me and my friend Craig in particular, we really
milky filter
bond over the value of beating the system, enjoying the value. And when I told him, I was like, if you go to Pret, you go, can I get a milky filter? That's £1. He was like, what? And he's buzzing about it forever.
It was black coffee with a bit of milk in, is it?
Yeah, it's just a milky filter.
So it's just white coffee.
It's £1 though, but that's what you guys like, because you guys live in Pret, didn't you?
Oh, I love it. Do you know what? They've really upped their game, because obviously I'm not in London, so I've missed out on all this. And I've probably been a year since I've been in the Pret, and I was coming back from London the other day, and they had vegan meatball wraps. They had like melted cheese sandwiches. It's like they've upped their game significantly. Yeah,
vegetarianism has really stepped forward, hasn't it?
Rob, he was just saying milky filter. I don't think it was actually called a milky filter. I think it's just something that we made up in the office. It was just coffee.
Oh, really? Was it?
Coffee.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah.
Filter, yeah.
Jed would come in, milky filter, anyone?
Rob's gone. That's the line. You've crossed the line there. I'm not going to go into a Pret and go, can I get a baby chino, please? Just because it's free in most places. But you're not a baby. I went, yeah.
Rob, just before we end, because this is just descending into nothingness, is Rob, why are flat whites so much more expensive than just a milky coffee or a latte, and you get half as much? I always go flat white. I think it's my favourite. But why is it so much more expensive? Anyway,
we'll answer that next week. Cliffhanger, isn't it? Cliffhanger. Sweet. All right. Thanks for watching, guys. Thank you, patrons. Apologies for the little technical difficulties. If you want to become a patron, there's a link in the description. We do a mailbag each week. It's always good fun. If you don't, then don't worry. Have a great weekend. Go get yourself a milky filter.
Lovely.
Have a great weekend, mate. Speak soon.
Ta-da.
Ta-da. Bye.
Bye. Bye. Bye.